You won't believe this police almost broke down my front door because my HOA neighbor claimed she heard someone inside screaming for help. The catch: my wife was the 911 dispatcher who took that call. Yeah, imagine that your own spouse unknowingly sending armed cops to arrest you in your own living room. Wow. Act 1. The conflict begins. My name's Aaron Thompson. Tech guy. Logical. Numbers. Systems. Data. That's how I see the world. Buying our first real home was supposed to be the big reset, the start of something good. But on day 1, standing in my brand new living room, staring at a manila folder spilled across my coffee table, my brain just crashed. Inside were photos of my house. Not casual snapshots, no. These were surveillance-level shots. Aerial pictures of my roof from God knows where. Close-ups of my mailbox. Measurements of my windows in neat handwriting. Living room, 72 by 48. Bedroom, 36 by 36. Across from me stood Kelly Turner, Oakwood Estates self-appointed HOA safety coordinator, 50-something. Severe haircut, golf cart parked out front like she was on neighborhood patrol, and with this eerie calm, she ran her finger across one of the photos. My father built houses exactly like this, she whispered, like it was some sacred calling. I tried reasoning with her, pulled out the deed, showed her the boundary map. Ma'am, my property isn't even in your HOA. It's 50 yards outside the line. She barely glanced at it. Property lines are just ink on paper. Community safety transcends boundaries. That's when I realized this wasn't a nosy neighbor. This was someone living in her own little universe, where rules didn't matter if she felt she was right. Then came my first small win. She handed me what looked like an official city inspection notice logo, letterhead, the whole 9 yards. My gut said fake. So I called the number right in front of her. Sir, we don't have any Inspector Johnson. Sounds like fraud. The look on Kelly's face like someone just tore up her lottery ticket. But instead of retreating, she doubled down. Technicalities don't override safety, she muttered, clutching her photos like holy scripture. By the time she squeaked away in her golf cart, my wife Ashley had just come home from work. Ashley's a 911 dispatcher, sharp as a blade. I showed her the folder. She didn't laugh. She didn't shrug it off. She studied the measurements, the aerial shots, the obsessive notes. Aaron, this isn't neighborly, she said flatly. This is stalking. Document everything. People like her, they escalate. I wanted to believe it was over. I'd caught her bluff, exposed her fake paperwork, but I should have listened, because Kelly Turner wasn't finished. She was just warming up. Act 2. Escalation and turning points. Monday morning, 3 separate noise complaints filed against me. Tuesday, the building department got an anonymous call that I was running an illegal business from home. Wednesday, one of Kelly's old co-workers showed up on my driveway with concerns about structural damage. Every time it traced back to her. She was clever though. She didn't forge everything. She just leaned on old contacts, pulled favors, twisted titles until people acted like she was legitimate. I kept documenting timestamps, phone numbers, even GPS data from when her golf cart conveniently drove by, but the stress was eating me alive. One night, I sat in my office surrounded by printouts, strings of evidence pinned to the wall like some serial killer board, and for the first time, I thought, maybe I made a mistake buying this place. Maybe Peterson, the previous owner, hadn't just died of natural causes. Maybe he'd been driven into the ground by this woman. Harold, my 65-year-old neighbor, confirmed my worst fear. Son, he said quietly over the fence. Peterson told me 3 times she had keys to his place, said she inspected his house whenever she wanted. I told him to call the cops, but... Harold's voice cracked. The police don't take neighbor drama seriously until somebody gets hurt. That's when I found Peterson's folder taped under an old workbench in my garage. His handwriting, shaky, desperate. If something happens to me, don't trust Kelly Turner. She watches at night. She tests my locks. I can't sleep. If you're reading this, get out. Attached were blurry photos Kelly at 2 with a flashlight pressed to his window, fiddling with his gate latch, pacing his yard like she owned it. I remember sitting on the garage floor, hands shaking, whispering to myself, what if I can't stop her? What if I'm next? That was my breaking point. The night I wanted to give up, pack our things, run, but Ashley wouldn't let me. She came home, saw me drowning in evidence, and put her hand on my shoulder. Aaron, she's escalating classic fixation pattern. People like this. They don't quit until they're stopped. That's why you can't roll over. Not for her, not for Peterson, not for us. And just like that, I snapped back. The fear turned to fuel. If Kelly wanted a war of documentation, surveillance, and timing, I was ready. I installed cameras on every corner, doubled the locks, logged every call and visit. And then, the cameras caught something that chilled me to the bone. Kelly. Practicing. Yes, standing on my porch, clipboard in hand, muttering lines under her breath. Yes, officer, I'm the HOA safety coordinator. The residents are refusing inspection. I need immediate entry. She wasn't guessing. She was rehearsing, preparing her big move. And I realized it wasn't going to stop with complaints. She was about to weaponize the system itself. Act 3. The climax. Sunday evening, 5:47 p.m. My cameras showed Kelly pacing outside my gate, clutching that same clipboard. 3 minutes later, she dialed 911. Who answered? My wife. Ashley later told me her blood ran cold the second she heard Kelly give my address. But she was trapped. Protocol doesn't allow a dispatcher to hang up or ignore a call. So, following procedure, she dispatched patrol units straight to her own home. Meanwhile, I was inside, oblivious until the sirens came. 2 cruisers, 1 supervisor vehicle, lights flashing, doors slamming, and there was Kelly gesturing wildly at my house like some official on a crime scene. I opened the door before they could knock. Evening. Officers. What's this about? Sergeant Harris looked thrown off by my calmness. Sir, we received a report from an HOA safety coordinator that someone inside may require immediate medical attention. She claims you refused entry. Kelly cut in smoothly, rehearsed and confident. These split-level homes have hidden dangers. I heard distress sounds. He's blocking a mandatory welfare check. I need access now. Her voice carried authority, like she'd said it 1,000 times. And the scary part, for a moment, the officers looked like they might believe her. Then Harris keyed his radio. Dispatch. Confirm the caller's authority and dispatcher ID. And across the static came Ashley's voice, my wife's voice, clear as a bell. Caller identified as Kelly Turner. Authority unverified. Dispatcher handling this call, Ashley Thompson. I stepped forward, shouting, Ashley is my wife. She's the one who dispatched you here to our own house. The silence was electric. Harris blinked. Kelly froze. I felt the whole world tilt sideways. Then, like a trap door opening, the illusion collapsed. Harris signaled his men, and Kelly's face twisted as the cuffs clicked shut. Even then, she smirked. Now you'll see. The inspection will prove I was right. You'll have to search the house anyway. No remorse, no fear, just this delusional belief that she'd finally won. But she hadn't. That night, Kelly Turner was arrested for filing a false emergency report, impersonating authority, and attempted unlawful entry.
Wow.
Final line. And as they drove her away, one truth seared into me. When someone hides behind fake authority to violate your home, the only real power you have is the courage to say no and the proof to back it up.
Wow.